This the parking lot. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Here's a back picture. Working with Aronde's doing a great job with us. There's actually going to be a neighborhood garden right here. We're working on that now. But there's ball fields right here. There's a little pool right here. There's no playground to be seen, no walking trails, no real park setting at all there. So those are the kinds of pieces I'm looking at as far as upgrading our community centers. Been talking with CC. He'll recognize this. This is Normandale. To take a piece of this and build a center, this is not it. This is an old existing facility. But we'd put a multi-purpose building there and put a synthetic field, which is what you see here. Not this one per se, but this is multi-purpose. It's football, soccer, lacrosse, etc. So, we'd have kickball, etc., for kids. Do an educational playground for the youngsters and then a bigger playground for the older kids. This is Madison Park. MPS has contacted me asking if we'd be interested in this is the old elementary school there, right there. And this entire yellow that you see is the property. So I've talked with Commissioner Sankey, as he's behind us. So consider taking this piece over, creating a center there, walking trails, playgrounds, etc., senior center, and a center for the community. I've actually heard from several people out there in that community that are all for that. I believe we can work out a pretty good deal with MPS. Don't record that, but anyway. I think we can do. So some of the program amenities that we're talking about, this is a ropes course, and we want to do high ropes, low ropes. This is just a great thing for kids to go through, self-confidence building, teamwork, et cetera. Create some mobile program units, or we can take some programming out to some of our parks and areas that don't have big centers. Disc golf course. I want to finish Screws Armory. Richard, bless him, had been really supportive of that with me, which is the one on Atlanta Highway that needs to be recreational activity. We want to finish that, build that out as an archery center, continue to build our STEAM activities, which we're starting this summer. We already have hunting and fishing clubs. I want to build up the Eat South program because we're doing an awful lot of gardening classes, put some restrooms in there and a program space there. Our Therapeutic Recreation Center, if you're not familiar with it, this is what we do. We do a lot of adaptive sports. We do wheelchair basketball, tennis, etc. This is for our physically and mentally challenged citizens in the community. We teach arts and crafts. We do social skills. We have a prom for these kids that aren't comfortable or capable being in their school proms. We have a computer lab for them. We do exercise. We do swimming, special events. We have a big equestrian program. Then we have a senior adult group that comes. If you've had a stroke here in Montgomery, you can be prescribed to come over to the pool and swim and do what we call stroke club, exercise, arthritis, and so forth. This is the TRC. This is the old Southeast Ymca, which we took over early 1980s. It was old at the time and even older now. This is our little riding area out back. That's all we have to work with our property. This is the pool currently under construction. As you can see, that is the extent of the swimming pool at TRC right now. So we'd like to go to something like this, a little bit more of an aquatic center type piece. You can see here, this is a chair lift to put people in the pool, have a secondary diving area. This is lap swim lanes. It's also big enough to host swim meets. We lost the Senior Olympic swim meet because that pool's not big enough anymore. We could do some free swim classes. We could teach our water aerobics and so forth. Just have a really nice aquatic center. We need a sensory room. This is areas where the kids can go to just kind of unwind. A lot of times they're negatively influenced by the surroundings and noises and so forth. It gives an opportunity to work with some kids. And then adaptive weight room. As you can see, the benches are very different. The handles are very different. Specifically made for those with challenges. And then we have an adaptive outdoor program. Believe it or not, we take them hunting, a lot of other outdoor activities, and so we'd like to continue to improve on that program and do that. So I'm just making a proposition. Coliseum has 110 acres. The Therapeutic Center, if we built a new center there, would give us a chance to use Crawford Arena, which I'm going to show you here in just a second. The Aquatic Center, a big multi-purpose, that super community center, a climbing center, splash pad, some walking and riding trail space out there. The Coliseum is probably around 100 plus or minus days of use. This would go to 300 plus. So this is not Crawford Arena, but something very similar to it, and this would give the kids a chance to really ride in a covered area. The heat and sun is a real issue for a lot of our disabled population. This is the Coliseum property. The city owns this right here, so that 110 acres. And this fantastic art piece right here, drew for you. This shows the existing Coliseum. This is Crawford Arena and the barns, and this is how a building would fit in there, Therapeutic Center, aquatics, and so forth, just to give you an idea. Whoops, let me go back one. So years ago, there was actually a drawing. This is ancient. We would not have a stream out front and all this, but proposed where the building would fit here with the north entrance, probably an atrium, and then the building would fit in this area coming this way. So it would look something like this. This is a representation of the Finley Center in Hoover. It would be multiple courts. As you can see, they can be divided. This is volleyball being played. So it's 12 basketball, 16 volleyball, and goes to 24 pickleball courts. So multi-purpose. Food court. You could put a covering on the floor, have banquets. This is an indoor event with kids during the summer. And then this is a walking pathway that goes all the way around the building. So it'd be an indoor walking track as well as having an outdoor. I'm going to build an adaptive climbing center there for kids where both our TRC population and our general population would be able to use it. Be, say, multi-use, and then have an indoor climbing center for adults also. We'd have, sorry, it's not a great picture, but this is a multi-use. This is a splash pad, and then this is a playground, and this is a net sport basically here that would be adjacent to it. So you'd have an adaptive playground used by wheelchairs, and also adaptive splash pad out back. We move now to our athletic facilities. We have begun construction renovation on Lagoon Park. We've begun on Patterson Field. We've begun on Crampton Bowl. We have not finished any of those projects. And then AUM Soccer Complex, you're going to see, here we go with no umpire facilities out there. So this is the kind of thing we're competing with now. This is a new facility at Oxford with full stadium course, field. This is Panama City, again, full stadium. You see covered areas, covered seating, shade, etc. on there. This is the new Orange Beach complex. Again, shaded seating, nice big shaded central building, place for umpires and so forth. This is in Auburn here. Again, you just see lots of covered space for people to be in. This is stadium field, batting cages everywhere. Those are two things that we aren't quite there yet. But here's what we do have at Lagoon. We've gone in Field 6, we built this. We do have some chair seating. You need some shaded cover. Here's the actual bleacher seating. Again, some coverage there, some tweaks and so forth. That would look pretty good. But this is our umpire area. We throw up a tent, put up a couple sides, and that's all we've got out there for them. So this is a design of what it would look like, just a rough draft to begin with. We would move the batting cages out front where people can see them and use them better, create a new entrance with ticketing, some meeting space, some concessions to serve Field 6 here, some more restrooms. We'd have another service road that would lead. We'd put an umpire building back here. This is covered space in the middle and some, additional dugout work. So that's basically what needs to be done to be really top-notch out there. We were the best there was back in 1970s when we built this. We've had numerous cities and states come look at how this was designed. Now we're at the bottom of the heap. People don't come look at our things anymore. Again, in Oxford, this is what we're dealing with baseball. Beautiful, beautiful field, big dugouts, nice bullpens, just a beautiful presentation, covered seating again. This is Patterson Field. This is all we've done there. We have a beautiful baseball field, well done, and this is the entrance. This is the part we did. And then you come in, and this is the field itself, so we have dugouts we'd need to work on. But this is it. That's the press box there. No covered seating, no chair seating, no anything. There's some bench back. That's what we have. And then this is the concession stand, built originally back with the building. Has not really been improved. Sorry you can't see that real well. But this is the restrooms, single light bulb type things, the concrete block. We paint, but just still not real good. This is the locker rooms. We've actually had a college tournament pull out and go elsewhere because our locker rooms and these pictures actually make them look good because we put a coat of paint on them. So I want you to look again at this picture, at this space here. This is what it would look like if we finished the final phase. So it's this building here that becomes, and it's going to be a little bit hard to see, you can probably see it. This becomes new restrooms, new concessions. Second deck would have some covered seating, a hospitality space, the radio room, press box, and a little outdoor seating. Kind of catch us up a little bit more with where we're so far behind.
Kay, what's the cost of that? What's the cost of that?
I got it on the very end. Okay. I got it coming at you.
I have another question.
Okay.
And this may be more for the mayor as well. What are we doing, if anything, to try and get back the girls softball? Well, I mean,
we are the contract with, if you're talking about the state softball, the contract with AHSAA is only 2 years in Oxford. They're ordinarily 5 years, so it's 2 years in Oxford. If you can read between those lines, but they'd like to come back without a doubt. So we'll be given an opportunity to bid on that tournament following next year's tournament. Had a good conversation with some of their representatives this past weekend at regionals. So very, very, very interested in coming to Montgomery, but we got to make some changes.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say we can bid on it, but if no changes are going to be made, it's not worth putting a bid in.
So back to Crampton Bowl. This again here. This is the restrooms that we're dealing with. This is the east side. West side we did a good job on. We haven't touched this side. Again, if you look here, this is paint coming off the walls in our concessions. This is original restrooms and concessions to back then. So proposal's been made to build a tower here that would be very similar to what we're doing at Patterson. So you would put concessions and restrooms on both levels over here, but possibly game operations, and then this becomes suites over here. This is a hospitality area. That's probably, of the three areas, it's fourth on my list. But and then this is some seating that very similar to what we have at Riverwalk Stadium, where you step out of the suite and there's seating out over the field there, over the end zone. There'd be doors put in here on the glass wall, and I believe this could become premium seating, and we'd actually get some dollars back from ESPN on creating that and creating seating there. Soccer complex would not add in anything field-wise, space-wise. We want to take a space here, create some synthetic fields, and basically here in the middle would be basically what you would know as a dream court for soccer. So it would happen here for our wheelchair athletes and kids in our disabled population. And just make note of this right here. That's what I'm about to show you. We would add here. These are dressing rooms. This is a championship field here, championship field over here. There is no place out there for dressing rooms. There is no permanent dressing rooms anywhere on the soccer complex unless you go into the indoor complex. So that would upgrade that out there.
Hey, can I ask you a quick question? Just a quick question for you on the soccer complex. When it was originally built, what was the purpose in building? Who were we supposed to partner with? Was it always to partner with the YMCA? Was it to partner with AUM? Was it city? And then initially, why weren't there dressing rooms and bathrooms built in a new complex such as that?
It is a partnership. We created a facility. AUM plays there, but the YMCA runs the soccer program here in the community. So they manage all the leagues, manage the tournaments out there. We support it with maintenance personnel for the tournaments and so forth. It's hard for me to answer that second question without throwing some former bosses under the bus, but
We don't want that, okay. No,
Yeah.
I wasn't asking for that reason, I was trying
just
to,
kind of a little bit short-sighted, I'll just put it that way.
okay.
Yeah. And I also have a follow-up. I saw the renovations for Patterson Field, Crampton Bowl, the softball fields. I neglected to see anything for Chisholm and Sheridan Heights Community Center involved in this.
Well,
Chisholm has a softball field.
Just from a time standpoint, I don't have all the community centers in here, but there's money in what you see in the end for every single one of them in my request. But there's 18, so just from a time standpoint, I can't put them all in there tonight. But there is money, request for upgrades of security lighting, paving, playgrounds, et cetera, for every single center in the community.
Will that be on the budget that you give us at the end? Will it be listed on there individually, or is it just say
Now,
community?
it says community centers. We can break that down as you need to, but
Yes, we would like to see
Okay.
it broken down individually.
Okay, if you would, I mean, for sake of time, I know you're gonna show that, if you can just provide that PowerPoint presentation to the council members and they can see it at their leisure.
Sure.
Thank you.
And I would love to meet with you so we could do a breakdown of the District 3 community centers, because I would hate to see them missing.
oh, no, there's dollars in, roughly just over $100,000 requested for every single one of them. A little bit more for some of the bigger ones, a little bit less for some of the ones that are nice, but most of them need a significant amount of work, without a doubt. Just as far as some new things, I want to talk about potentially putting a new complex for youth baseball out at Peter Crump. We had this drawn by Walter Bush several years ago. I would just love to see this happen out there and really grow a nice complex out on the south end for us, for those kids. We've got families going back and forth between Peter Crump and Seth Johnson. It'd be nice to centralize it at Peter Crump with a really nice complex. We're woefully behind on pickleball. I won't try to explain to you the game tonight, but we are woefully behind. This has been a fast-growing sport. This is a picture of Opelika's first complex. There's 12 courts here. You can also build them open area like this. I'd like to see us do a facility, covered or not, whichever, and then do some individualized 2 or 3 or 4 courts at a number of different places around the city. Like I said, we are years behind on the pickleball world. Sand volleyball or beach volleyball, as people know it, we have 2 courses out at Fame Park right now. I'd like to add a few more. That's not huge dollars, but we do need to put some lighting. We have a great group that plays out there, and I believe that will just grow in the future. Whoops, let me go back one. I've been approached by Doug Singleton with the County Commission and a few other folks about, I'm just calling this Railway Park, please, there's no name right now. It is a downtown park, but he's looking at as again, a softball venue. I'd like to add to that, do some, make it really a downtown park. We have over 1,700 housing units in downtown now, and we need some additional play space for people. This is the spot I'm talking about. It's this area here, currently owned by what you will know as Marjam or El Sajah. This is the downtown area. Water park, the new water park will be over here. So kind of bookend the downtown area. The Riverfront Greenway Trail is coming through here and circling up in here, so be very close to that. This is the train shed that's out there. I could see this becoming another great downtown entertainment venue. And with some softball, with maybe disc golf, with some pickleball courts out here, walking trail around this, and really become a nice destination park downtown for folks. Let me just mention these things are under my purview, so just want to mention a few things here on some special facilities, so to speak. Riverfront, been a lot of conversation about permanent seating, just to bring that up. It'd be nice to have some shade, nice to have some permanent handicap seating down here also for events. Train shed, we need to really look at upgrading and adding to the restrooms there. We're getting a lot of use, and we just don't have the restroom facility to support it. In addition, some nice sound system in there just for emergency purposes, as well as the entertainment piece, just so you can literally hear from one end to the other. That's 600 feet long. Zoo, they're working on raising funds now for a reptile exhibit. eventually perhaps a gorilla exhibit, but if there's dollars available, completing the reptile exhibit would be pretty huge. The storm that just went through a couple of weeks ago, we kind of held our breath in hopes that the building was going to hold together and we weren't going to go out and there's snakes running around everywhere, because it is in one of the last of the original zoo buildings from way back when. So that is something that I would advocate completing. And then potentially a small IMAX theater out at the zoo, which would give us another revenue stream. Also create a staging area for educational presentations, something that could change up on a regular basis and I think maybe interest people and draw new crowds periodically. So here you are. You see community center upgrades, additions. I put 3.2. That's where every community center in the city is included. So they're not broken down per center, but 3.2 to do. And then the amenities I talked about. Admittedly, some of this is architectural dollars that were given to us a couple of years ago. Post-COVID, I don't know that this will be accurate now. We'll have to do some work on this after we decide what we do in fact want to go after here. CC was working with the owner out at Normandale. We may get a break on not having to buy property or having to pay as much, so those dollars may go further. Aquatic Therapeutic, the big multi-purpose, really super community center type piece. I see that open to the public first and foremost, and then become an economic driver also. And there's the 2.8 on Lagoon, 3.6 on Patterson, 8.3 for the first phase I talked about, and then if you added that last piece, those last couple of pieces would be another 4.4. The Peter Crump right now at $2 million, about $750,000 for pickleball, just a facility, and about $12 million is what was estimated by the County Commission for the Railway Park. And just as a note, here's some reference piece for you that the Chamber provided for me. Every 50-team softball tournament we have raises about $730,000 in economic impact per weekend. If you go to 150 teams or you had 2 tournaments, that'd be about $2.2 million. The Sunbelt Baseball, which we're hosting next week, is a college baseball tournament, guaranteed 1,200 room nights for us, plus their food, etc., expenses. Our Camellia Bowl over the last 6 years has averaged about a $17 million impact every year. Considerably lower some years, certainly this past year qualifies in that realm, and then some that were, well over 20 million. We are bringing in right now, on a normal year, not this past year by any means, but so-called normal year, we're averaging 800,000 plus visitors coming to the community.
I got a question, maybe I missed some. So y'all, just be graceful to me. That was a $55 million, what is supposed to come from?
Well, this would be dollars for either some Rescue Act funding, bond issue money. I know the County Commission is interested in working with us on some of those projects. I know the mayor's had some good conversations with Chairman Dean and some others. So that's what I'm giving to y'all. Here's what we need to get to the top of the heap. I've appreciated, and the mayor and I have had several conversations that he wants to be the best, and I would like to see us get there too. And those are the kinds of things that we need to do to really be top notch.
Do you have them prioritized on where you would want to start, if that's something we had to do? Are they prioritized?
They're not in priority lists there. I can share that with you. Community centers would be number one for me. We've got some of those that haven't been touched since I started here well over 35 years ago. So that'd be a high priority for me to begin with. And then the Therapeutic Center is just huge. We're turning people away. And it's kind of heartbreaking type piece for me. I'd like to see. We needed to upgrade that when I first came on board in 1984. So that's a big piece for me. And then we just have to weigh what we want to do with the softball tournaments and the baseball and the football and all those kinds of pieces, with the lagoons and Patterson and so forth. Like I said, I know the County Commission's interested in the downtown park. It might be something that we either partner with or they want to do. But I like the idea if it's more than a softball complex. So those kinds of pieces, that would be pretty much where I'm
I guess that would be my question. If we're looking at revenue, I guess the baseball field, if we only have 2 years to try to get that contract back, that would be probably the first thing that we would look at.
Yeah, and actually they're playing right now in Oxford. So we've got now through this time next year. And then the bid will go back out. So, and we need a commitment. If we make that commitment, I feel pretty good about where we would be.
Okay, and I'll be done.
Even if we did do the funding?
They would be contracted. They'd be contracted.
Go ahead, Ms.
Okay,
Booth.
Charlie used to tell us a number that you had, that the number of people that Parks and Rec brought to the city of Montgomery. What? I can't remember.
Well, it's between 800,000 and 1 million people a year, depending on how much is
That's
going
how
on.
important this is. That's,
On a-
I couldn't
on a
remember
given
the
year.
number.
Okay, I got
Thanks.
two questions. I saw the presentation, but anything on the tennis upgrade, tennis court?
Here's what I would advocate is these are like immediate kinds of pieces I feel like need to happen. I would advocate a master plan for Parks and Recreation that speaks to the Envision 2040.
Okay.
I have some drawings already for some upgraded tennis. Can we live with what we have right this minute? Yes.
Okay.
Can we live with the way some of our buildings and things look right now? I would say no.
Okay.
So those are the kinds of things. Our parks are in desperate need of some facelifts, just walking trails, picnic shelters, all those kinds of things. So our trail, we need a trail system. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that need to be done, but they need to be done systematically. So I would advocate a master plan
Master
being
plan.
put together,
Okay.
and then just take a look at that over the next 10 years.
Okay, last question. On the Gateway Lodge, any renovations for the lodge, upgrades on that facility?
You'll see that at budget time.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we can wait for this on down the road. You'll see that in my budget. Mm-hmm.
All right, any other questions?
I do, one quick question. We were talking about at the TRC, all the different programs and how it would benefit. Does that fall under the city as far as allowing people into it, those programs? Is that like city responsibility?
Yeah, it is our part of our department. Mm-hmm. It's a city-owned, city-operated facility. Yes. One of the best-kept secrets. But unfortunately, we've had to kind of keep it a secret. We literally are turning people away because we just simply do not have room for them. We are shoehorned in there. Anything else?
All right, any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Do that again at the full meeting, or we just?
No, that was just in the work session. All right, Madam Clerk, first item.
This work session,
No, sir, you carried this one down.
this work session.
I read it during the council meeting.
Oh, okay, yeah, item one. I'm gonna vote that, I think Thomas is here, we talked about this, we got this. Chris, if you wanna talk about this, but I think we got the information we need on how we will enforce on those signs, so I'm gonna ask for an up and down vote on that. And these about these obsolete signs that's on these properties throughout the city of Montgomery, that we can go ahead and put it as one of our abatement agencies to go ahead and get rid of those. All right, item number 2. The ordinance amending the entertainment district, that's something that's coming out of the mayor's office. Anyone want to speak on that at this time, or just in the council meeting? Stacy.
Councilman, the only note I was going to draft this, assistant drafting it, I did put in paragraph 7 that the effective date of these changes, which are highlighted, would go into, would be August 1st. That's because there are several requirements in here that the businesses in the district are going to have to comply with. I believe there's some special cups that they are going to have to provide, and then some kind of receipt or proof of purchase that they're going to have to provide for the patrons to carry with them. I don't know that that's been communicated with them yet, so I put August 1st, and I believe the mayor's asked that it actually be July 1st, so it will be before July 4th holiday weekend.
All right, any questions?
I have a question, just when I think about that number 6 about the receipt as proof. I don't, sometimes alcohol causes us to lose our keys, let alone a receipt. I just see that being problematic. And I'm wondering, because I know this is something we're going to kind of talk with the businesses about. Maybe it may be more efficient if we get some kind of wristband or a stamp or something that says, if you plan to walk then you need to have one of these. But if you're gonna be in the business and you're just gonna sit and eat here with us, you don't have to have anything but a wristband or some kind of or just something that signifies you've been out versus a receipt. I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
alcohol and that piece of paper ain't gonna make it.
Well, other than that, just the cup itself, because sometimes people go in groups, and it might be one person that purchases all of the alcohol, and they might separate. And then that makes me think about the policing and how we would do that within the district. And wherever we do the borders, which I would have a question about, where would be the borders of the entertainment district, and how we can talk with Chief on policing that space during that time, during those hours. So that would be my only concern.
And I guess, and just to piggyback on Marche, will we really be policing per se? Because I know that's something we don't really plan to do, just take officers off the street to say police people and their alcohol at the restaurants like that. But I know there may be some moments where they may have to kind of come through, and then we want to verify they're supposed to be walking and, you know, that type of thing. But
And that could easily just be like, Chief, the patrol unit that's in that space. That maybe we just increasing in a certain amount of hours, whatever the hours are, that we know that people buy more alcohol on the weekends or something like that, so we're not taking away.
just thoughts, y'all, just thoughts. It's okay.
We want to make sure it's successful.
Yeah.
Whatever the directions are, we would be out there to provide that service. And so I know that once we enact the district, the entertainment district, we would be out there in that approachable manner, but we would have a presence out there.
And I have one more quick question on this. We had this open one time before, that we had a open carry downtown, was considered the business district. Why did we stop that?
Because we didn't have many rules. That's what we got to talk about.
Yeah, we had a lot of people
We ain't
operating
got
out
but
of.
7 on this piece of paper.
I think that's where the receipt part comes in. It was a lot of stuff where people was coming
Okay.
down with the red Solo cups, and you know, those are not the cups that they're using at the businesses downtown. So I guess that's why we're talking about getting uniformity cups so you can you can walk around with them. So that was one of the problems. And I
Okay.
think that's where the receipt thing, so we can get an idea to try to deter some of the things that's going on when we bring it back. I think it'll be beneficial for the businesses here in Montgomery. Great question.
And if we do the wristband, it'd be good to have every week a different color, you know, just something. Because you showed with that same wristband from last month. It looked good.
All right?
Okay.
You on it? All right?
They're not gonna use no wristband for the last month now, all right, California. They're not gonna do
You
that.
don't think so? Okay.
Don't tell me that.
You watch them.
We're gonna put Audrey on the policing. All right, let's in on item number 2. Item number 3, resolution declaring a day of prayer for the city of Montgomery. To try to, I guess we talked about this as a council. It's something that we're bringing out to ask the city to pray for some of the violent crimes that we have in Montgomery, asking people to come together, and we want to do what we think. We have it throughout the state, so we're asking that this be done in the city of Montgomery. Mr. President. All right, any questions on item 3? Item number 4, Ms. Johnson, Councilor Johnson.
Yeah, so I wanted to dedicate the King Hill Community Center to Councilman Larkin for paying homage to him, for one thing, for the staple that he left in that community and the legacy, and to also, you know, just pay tribute to what he has done in the city of Montgomery. So I'm hoping that you all will side with me on this.
Okay.
Are you gonna have any community members here?
So I have been speaking with the King Hill community, and they're in favor of it. So I'm thinking about doing it during Memorial Day weekend, but it is coming really close, so we may do it in the summer months, so that way it can be a city event, and we can all come together and do that. So that's our tribute to our late councilman.
All right. Any questions? Ms. Johnson? All right. Thank you, ma'am. Item number 5, Mr. Runday Mitchell.
Yes, sir. We've been dealing with this said place for the last probably 2 years since I first got into office. And the people in my district just want some answers and see what we can do to make sure that this place is maintained. They are not licensed right now. They're not operating as a business, but people are dumping on their property.
Okay.
So we got to figure out something.
All right. So item 6 will be the resolution revoking the right operate a business in Montgomery. So we'll handle item 6 once we get there. Item 7, show cause hearing on the proposed revocation of business license for Walter Griffin. I think we talked about that. We carried it over last week, and I think they're supposed to be present.
Fire department. Fire department should be here.
Are we discussing it now, Charlie? I mean,
He's clear.
Yes, Mr. Griffin complied with everything that we had as far as fire code violations. He has corrected and completed all violations that we asked him to.
Okay.
So he is.
If you're happy, we should be happy.
Yes.
So we're gonna just withdraw this.
Yep, number 8 should be withdrawn because that's a revocation.
Yeah.
Yep, so
Withdraw
we can move on. Number 9, application for a retail beer and retail wine license in East Chase. Mr. Jim Wright, that's you.
He's fine.
All right. Any question on that? And
Yes, sir.
application for retail beer, table wine on Whitmere Boulevard. Would that be you also, Mr. Jim Wright?
Yeah, that's good. That's the old service station. Change hands.
All right. Another application for retail on Eastern Boulevard. What is saying? More than 30 days, 165 Eastern Boulevard, item number 11. I don't know if that's me or you or Glenn.
What is that one? 165.
But we'll have a public hearing on it. So
Yeah, we will.
we'll see what it's going to be about. All right, we're here at that time. Number 12, application for retail liquor license class 2 package store for Crown Tobacco and package store on Narrow Lane Road. They came before us about 6-7 months ago. The guy has worked with the community. I think talked with the community. They're fine with him. They will have a couple people speak on his behalf today. We're going to speak at 5 o'clock. I got you. And so we're fine with that. We're hear what they got to say. He's doing a great job within the community. He renovated that building that was vacant. Had a lot of homeless people in there, so I'm fine with it at this point. All right. Number 13. Dreamland Barbecue, 7900 Glen Road.
It's good.
Good. All right. And then we have an appeal, and then some teardowns and some weed abatements. All right. And that's it on the agenda. Do we have any questions about any items on the agenda?
Good.
All right. Yep.
He'll report that out during special committee.
Oh, yeah, that's going to come up.
Oh, yeah, that'll come up.
Glenn will come up
Yeah,
with that
that'll
on
come
the
up, yeah.
special committee report in the regular council meeting. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Ma'am? Yes, yes. We can. If you got questions. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, if Ms. Beeville tells us we have $1.5 million, then whoever's been here 5, 10, 15, 20, Betty will help us figure out, what employee, the 5-year gets, $100 and the, 10-year gets 200. Excuse me, whatever that is. So, I mean, and we'll have to approve it every single year. This will not be an ongoing, but the council can approve it every year. And also that money can grow each year for the longevity bonus for our city employees.
But it's only approved if the money is available.
That's right, yeah, it's gotta be there. It's gotta be there, that's correct.
All right. Any questions? Any questions? All right. See you guys at 5 o'clock. Work session is adjourned.